What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be discussing some recent updates in relation to the Chicago Bulls, not only ahead of our next game against the Pelicans and future games to come, but also a situation when it comes to DeMar DeRozan. We're going to be discussing all this and more in this video. Before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and the future of the Chicago Bulls. What's to come for this Bulls organization? There is so much in this instance to discuss. Again, I feel like in terms of basketball, how we actually play, we're nothing to talk about realistically. Again, I know we had a great game against the Bucks. A lot of the young guys stepped up to the plate, and Bulls fans really want to focus on that, and that's okay. That's great. I hope we all can focus on that. But in the whole world of basketball, you look at teams like Denver, you look at teams like, the Boston Celtics, you look at all these other teams that are thriving in the NBA. We're not much to talk about in that regard. However, when it comes to trade speculation, when it comes to rumors outside of the courts, that's where the Chicago Bulls is really being heavily discussed, and there is some news to talk about there. But let's start off with an injury update. It looks like Zach LaVine is going to be out for at least a week due to right foot soreness. Look, first and foremost, always health comes first before anything else, and I do wish Zach LaVine a speedy recovery. Again, it's only a week, so it's not a massive injury. Still speculation on whether or not it's a real injury or not. I'm not here to give you answers on that because I don't know. I'm not talking to Zach LaVine and asking, is this injury fake or anything like that? But as long as this is the story, I'm going to say get well soon to Zach LaVine. Hopefully within that week, he'll be able to recover. And whatever happens after that, happens after that. We'll get to it when we get to it, I guess. We'll just have to wait and see. But with that week out for Zach LaVine, I guess for the Chicago Bulls and what that means for us is that we're going to see a little bit of a different structure. Now, DeMar DeRozan is likely to come back, so that does mean that, again, we're just losing a 20-point per game scorer in Zach LaVine for most nights. But maybe that game that we saw against the Bucks, not necessarily the statistics behind that game, but the effort of the games for the Chicago Bulls might be the vocal point going forward, where we win games purely on effort and not necessarily because of talent. And maybe that gives Zach LaVine more time to really rest, recuperate, and if he does come back for the Chicago Bulls, he's coming back able to give his absolute best to this Bulls organization up until he does get traded. A lot of people want to speculate that this is the last game that we'll ever see Zach LaVine play, whenever his last game was. I think it was, when was it? It was against the Boston Celtics, I think, No, I don't know. Whenever Zach LaVine's last game was, he had 2 points in that game. I don't remember who was it against, whatever. I'm sure you guys can let me know. Again, Bulls games at this point, they just all fly off the shelves. You just don't know what you're getting with them at the moment. But yeah, at the end of the day, when it comes to a lot of people speculating that, I don't have the answers to you for that. A week out of basketball does not equal December 15th. Mathematically, if he's only out for a week, it means he will be back before December 15th, which means he will be playing for the Chicago Bulls again. That's the only way I'm going to take it as. So when he comes back, I just want that work ethic from Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine at one point in his career was considered one of the hardest working players in the NBA. He had one of the craziest NBA routine schedules that we have ever seen. How he trained in his offseason. How other players gave him massive credit for being the biggest hard worker you could possibly ask for from an NBA player. This is well-known facts. Look at the past. Look at how people talked about Zach LaVine back then and the work ethic that he had. Now, as much as we want to say Zach LaVine doesn't work hard, maybe he is checked out with the Chicago Bulls. I think that's a valid argument to have. But what I want to see from Zach LaVine if he comes back to this Bulls team and plays for however long he's going to play here, work ethic. I want to see Zach LaVine play the same type of energy that Kobe White, Io, Caruso, and all these other guys played. That's what I want to see from Zach LaVine. If we can see that, then again, no one's going to complain that Zach LaVine is giving his all until he leaves the Chicago Bulls. In fact, he might very well save his reputation with Bulls fans because it's crumbling down the toilet at this point for most people. So that's what I want to see from Zach LaVine. But there's more to this video, ladies and gentlemen. Let's quickly talk about DeMar DeRozan. Now, apparently there's reports out there suggesting that the destinations that DeMar DeRozan would like to go to if he is traded away from the Chicago Bulls would be the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks. Wow, there is a lot to discuss there. I don't necessarily know how true these reports are, but let's talk about the two teams then and how they could suit a DeMar DeRozan. Let's start off with the Miami Heat. Now, Miami, I think I can understand why Miami is a destination for DeMar DeRozan. It's because his best friend is playing for the Miami Heat. I'm assuming, just a hunch here, if the Bulls do trade DeMar DeRozan to the Miami Heat, Kyle Lowry will not be involved in that trade. It would have to be other pieces because it's probably a situation where DeMar wants to go play with Kyle Lowry again and go play for a team that is focused on winning. And I actually see this working out for the Miami Heat. Now, the only problem with Miami Heat and DeMar DeRozan is that Heat culture is focused on defense. DeMar DeRozan isn't exactly the most amazing defender. But if Erik Spoelstra can find a way to, I guess, work around that, DeMar DeRozan brings a lot to a half-court offense with the Miami Heat that I consider a somewhat struggle from time to time. I think that's Miami's biggest weakness at this point. I think they have the three-point shooting. I think they have the playmaker in Jimmy Butler. They've got a dominating center in Bam Adebayo. Granted, he is a bit of a different, unique center, but he provides something there for the Miami Heat. And I think they've got talent off of their bench for the most part. They've got a nice young rookie in there. I don't know who they're going to give up and what's going to happen there, but the half-court offense for the Miami Heat at times I feel like struggles, and they do have to rely on Jimmy Butler to make a play, or they have to rely on a guy like Tyler Hero to cook for Miami to really score some offense. So that's where I think DeMar DeRozan can come into play. I think, a little bit of isolation for Miami might do well, but at the end of the day, I don't really know what would have to be given up. And I don't see Miami giving up a whole lot for DeMar DeRozan. So that's one thing to take into consideration. The New York Knicks, I can also see the New York Knicks working. Now, I don't know why DeMar DeRozan would want to go to New York. I guess because it's a big stage, big atmosphere. New York Knicks are a big organization. And, playing in Madison Square Garden it's again, a lot of people see that as the mecca of basketball, I guess you could say. But I think for the Knicks, I could see this working out for them. I could see this working out for DeMar DeRozan as well. But again, how much would the New York Knicks be willing to give up for a guy like DeMar DeRozan? Do they even have the salary to even get a guy like DeMar DeRozan onto their team? And how big of a difference will they make to the whole team in general? I don't see Julius Randle and DeMar DeRozan personally working well together. But I see DeMar DeRozan working well with a guy like Jalen Brunson, working well with guys like Grimes and stuff of that nature. Maybe even a Mitchell Robinson and pick-and-roll situations. Maybe these can all work. I just don't know. And I don't know why DeMar DeRozan isn't considering LA at this point. That's where he wanted to go before the Chicago Bulls. Now, I get it. The Clippers might not be an option, but I still see the Lakers as an option for DeMar DeRozan. I just don't get it in that regard. I really, really don't. But it is what it is. If those are his destinations, we'll wait and see when the time comes. At the end of the day, it's not really a matter of, I guess who cares if the teams fit DeMar DeRozan. That's his choice. He wants to go to those teams. That's all on him. We'll wait and see if the Bulls could get a deal done there, if they could get a deal done there, and that's if DeMar DeRozan actually wants to leave the Chicago Bulls. These are the things we don't know about at this point in time. But to me, it doesn't. Once DeMar DeRozan leaves the Chicago Bulls, if it happens, I don't care if the team that he goes to fits him or not. Same with Zach LaVine. I'm talking about all the best destinations for Zach LaVine. If he wants to go to the Charlotte Hornets, go. And if the fit's poor there, then that's on them. They wanted to trade for him. Stuff like that. I don't really think it matters to me what the fits of the other teams look like. They have a clear, different strategy and a game plan to go and pursue these guys. They're going to have to figure it out themselves. That's on them. But for the Bulls, I just want the best return possible for anyone that we can get. DeMar DeRozan is a guy I don't think we're going to get much in return for because of the expiring contract, and he is having a career low in percentages and not really producing at the level that he probably should be as one of our go-to options on a team that's supposed to be about winning. So I don't see much in return for DeMar DeRozan, but I'll say this. If DeMar DeRozan wants to leave the Chicago Bulls, and it's well known, right, in the middle of the season, and he makes it clear to the Bulls organization he doesn't want to come back, I'd rather take something than nothing. I'd rather see him get traded for little than to see him walk for nothing. So we'll wait and see. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. See you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.